Welcome to Logical Reasoning video on Direction Sense Test from careerright.com. Placement test, job interviews, bank MBA and other exams consider Direction Sense Test as one of the basis of logical reasoning. So every exam has at least two sums based on it. Many feel that it is very confusing, but today in this video we'll make the topic easy for you by giving you some tips on how to solve the sums quickly and accurately. Also, direction test questions are available on careerright.com for practice. So now let's start with the direction test. Before starting with sums of directions, let us take a look at some of the basics. Okay. Now here we are going to see 2 to 3 concepts which are very easy, you know that, but we are like revising, right? Let us first draw, okay? This is nothing but our north, okay? So always take the upper direction as north. This is north. What is the opposite of north? South, right? Now north and south has been established. Now how to establish east and west, okay? We know that say always the right hand side is the east, okay, and the left hand side is west. Why or how to remember such things? Very easily, you know USA is a western nation and USA is on our left side, so west is on our left side and east will be the opposite, that is the east side, okay, that is on the right side, okay. So these are the 4 main directions: north, south, east and west. Apart from these, there are 4 other directions, okay. They are these, take a look. This is nothing but north east because it lies between north and east. This is south east because it lies between south and east. This lies between south and west, so it is southwest. This lies between north and west, so this is northwest. Mind you, it is not west north or east north, something like that. It is northwest. So north south is written first and then east west is written. So northwest, northeast, southeast and southwest, okay. So these are the 8 main directions which you should know for solving sums related to direction sense test, right? Now moving to the second concept, we know that the sun rises in the east, okay. So the sun rises in east and the sun sets in west. This is common knowledge, but we need to remember this. Why? Because many a times in exam they might give that the person starts walking towards sunrise, okay, or towards sunset. That means that the person is walking towards east or west, right? So sun rises in the east and the sun sets in the west. So now we have learned the 8 directions. Now let us move on to another concept, that is nothing but the angles, okay, the angles between the directions, right? Now we have north, we have east. Between these 2 main directions the angle is always 90 degrees. East and south it is 90, south and west it is 90, as well as north and west it is 90 degrees. So there are 4 quadrants: north, south, east and west. Each is 90 degrees each, okay, 90 degrees, okay. Now the angle between north and northeast, that is this secondary direction, it is 45 degrees. Same way this will be 45 degrees. This, all these smaller angles, that is the angle between the main direction and this secondary direction, all these angles are 45 degrees, okay. So 45, this makes up 90 degrees. The total angle is, since if you start from north and come back to north, it would be 360 degrees, okay. Out of that, between north and east, these angles are 90 degrees and each of the subordinate angles make, subordinate directions make 45 degrees with the main 4 directions, right. So remember this, angles are 90 degrees and 45 degrees. This is very useful when we are solving sums, okay, because we would be given a direction or the angle in which the turn has been made by a person or the person turns, and depending on that we have to find the direction, right? Now after this, let us move on to another concept. Take a look at the left hand side. Now say if I am walking towards north, okay, so I am facing north right now, okay, I am walking towards north and I am facing north right now, and if say I make a right turn, so over here no angle has been mentioned, 45 degree or 50 degree or 60 degree, so the right turn which I make will always make an angle of 90 degrees, okay. So whenever I turn left, okay, whenever I turn left or right, it will always make an angle of 90 degrees if the angle is not mentioned. Say if I am walking towards east and if say I turn left, so I am turning left by angle 90 degrees. This is a straight line, okay. I am turning by an angle of 90 degrees since no angle has been mentioned. If I am say walking east and they say that I turn by 45 degrees, then I turn by 45 degrees because angle has been mentioned. But if angle is not mentioned, it is by default 90 degrees. Please remember, because if you forget this or if you keep on thinking what angle has been made in exam, then you might get the wrong answer. By default it is 90 degrees. Let us take another example. Say if I am walking towards north, okay, and I take or I make a turn of 180 degrees, right? From right I make a turn of 180 degrees. So I'll travel 90 degrees first, then again 90 degrees. So this will be 180 degrees and now I will be facing south. Now if I take 180 degree turns from right or from left, it will be the same, result will be the same because I will be facing south only. From here also it is 180 degrees. So whenever a person makes a 180 degree turn, the person will face in the opposite direction, right? So if I am going east and if I take a 180 degree turn, I will face west. This is east, this is west, this is 180 degrees. See how easy concept these are, right? In exam, whenever you see a direction test, okay, take a look at the right hand side. Whenever you see a direction test, you will just draw like this, north, and from this you will be able to deduce all the directions, because this will be south, this will be east, this will be west, and then we will have northeast, east, southeast, southwest and northwest, okay. Over here while practice we will draw like this. So this will give you an idea regarding where all are the directions are. Do not draw this entire diagram in exam, okay, the north and south and east and west and northeast and southeast and southwest and northwest. Here you have wasted your precious 20 seconds, right? Drawing this, you are wasting your precious 20 seconds. In exam, just draw what? This. Just draw this. Once you practice more, you won't even need to draw this. You will just remember that north is on the top and south is at the bottom. Finish. And you will be able to solve sums directly with this. But right now, while practicing, we will be seeing this diagram, and in exam, please draw this diagram. Just one arrow and north, and that way you can solve all the sums. Now let us see some more tips regarding directions. Again, we will see few 2 to 3 tips over here. Okay, let us first draw the diagram, right? So this is north, this is south, this is east, this is west, and you know this is a northeast, southwest, northwest and southeast. Now what we have seen, the sun rises over here, okay, and the sun sets over here in the west, right? Now what is clockwise and anti-clockwise direction? How does a clock move? Okay, say if this is a clock, 1, 2, 3, so this is clockwise, and the exact opposite will be anti-clockwise. So whenever a person is making a clockwise turn, the person is going like this, clockwise, okay, and if a person is making an anti-clockwise, is going anti-clockwise, the person is going like this, okay. This is nothing but anti-clockwise, right? So please remember, this is clockwise and this is anti-clockwise. Say if you are facing north and if you want to go clockwise, you will go like this only. If you want to go anti-clockwise, you will go like this. Say if you are facing south and you want to go clockwise, then clock moves like this, so you will go like this, same as this. And if you want to go anti-clockwise, the clock moves like this, so you will go like this, same. So clockwise and anti-clockwise does not depend on in which direction you are facing, right? You can face in any direction. Clockwise and anti-clockwise will be same. Clockwise means moving through right, anti-clockwise means moving through the left, okay. now let's move on to another concept, that is turning left and right. Now here people get confused a lot, and in this confusion they make a lot of mistakes, okay, but it is very easy. Take a look over here on the right hand side. Say this is me, okay, this is me, and I am facing north. What will be my right hand side? This. What will be my left hand side? This, right? Correct? So this is my right, this is my left, okay, just like what you are seeing right now. Your right is my right, your left is my left. Now let us assume that I am facing south, okay. Now this is me and I am facing south. Now while facing south, what will be my right hand side? It would be this, exactly opposite to this, and this would be my right hand side and this would be my left hand side, okay. So this is right, this is left, exactly opposite to this. So in exam, whenever you get confused, what you should do is you just need to draw this for north and exactly opposite would be for south. Please remember, since I am facing south now, so my right hand side is this and left hand side is this. It is exactly to what you are saying right now. Your right hand side is this, okay, this is your right hand side, but this is my left because I am facing south and you are currently facing north, okay. Say I am facing east, what will be my right? It will be this and this will be my left. If I am facing west, this will be my left and this will be my right hand side. This is very important because in the sums related to shadow, this is asked also. It is asked when a person is making a turn, like 90-degree turn or 45-degree turn toward right and left. So please remember this, okay, practice this, just draw this diagram, and from this you will be able to derive all the things. What you can consider is this diagram, you just turn it around like this, you turn it around like this and you will get this diagram, okay, or you turn it just 90-degree and you will get this diagram of the east, this one, turn it more, you will get this diagram. So it is very easy, just remember what is your right and left and turn the diagram accordingly, okay. Now after this right and left, another very important concept, okay, let us see over here at the bottom. Now you have learned this in 8th, 9th, 10th, and this is nothing but the Pythagoras theorem. If you have a right angle triangle ABC, then AC is nothing but the hypotenuse, okay, and we know hypotenuse square, that is AC square, will be equal to side 1 square plus side 2 square. Now this is very important, you need this to solve the sums related to directions where distance has been asked. Please remember, in the direction sums, familiar geometrical figures would be asked, okay, like a square or a rectangle, okay, or a right angle triangle. Now this right angle triangle can be of any form, okay, it can be like this, it can be like this, and you just need to find out familiar figures and correspondingly you need to write down the distances and calculate the final distance or the final answer, right. We will see how to do that, how to divide our diagram or direction sum into familiar geometrical figures and how to solve them in the sums which we are going to see ahead. We are going to do it over there. Now let's move on to another very important concept, okay. Now let us draw it again. This is north, this is south, this is east and this is west. We know sun starts at the east and the sun sets in the west. At 12 p.m. or 12 noon, okay, at 12 noon the sun is over here on the north, on top of our head. Say if we are standing over here, if sun is starting over here at 12 noon, it is exactly on top of our head. What happens is that when the sun rises in the east, the shadow will be on this side, on the west. So during sunrise in the morning, okay, in the morning, during sunrise, the shadow is towards the west, right? And during evening, when the sun is setting, when the sun is on the west side, shadow will be on the east side, right? So in the evening, the shadow would be on the east side. What will happen at 12 noon? At 12 noon, there is no shadow. Why? Because the sun is on our head and the shadow falls below our feet, okay, because of which what happens, since the shadow is below our feet, we are not able to see the shadow. So at 12 noon, there is no shadow because shadow is below our feet, okay. Now another thing, right? Another important concept which is related to left and right. Say take a look over here. I am facing north. Okay, this is me again. I am facing north, and thus at sunrise in the morning. So this is east. This is west. At sunrise in the morning, the shadow will be on the west side. So my shadow will be on this side, on the west side. This is nothing but my left side. So during sunrise, when I am facing north, okay, when I am facing north, during sunrise, my shadow is on the left side of mine. And during sunset, when the sun reaches over here, my shadow will be, that is after 12 o'clock, right? My shadow will be on the right hand side towards east. This is my right hand side. So during sunset, my shadow will be to the right of me. Correct? Same way, if I am facing south, what will happen? If I am facing south, okay, this is me and I am facing south. During sunrise, this is east. During sunrise, my shadow will be on my right hand side. And during sunset, when the sun is on the west, my shadow will be on the left hand side of mine, because now I am facing south. Okay, so exactly opposite. This is exactly opposite over here, right? So remember this concept, we will be seeing it in sums also. So clockwise, anti-clockwise, turning right and left when we are facing north and south, then the hypotenuse or the Pythagoras theorem, familiar geometrical figures, and where does the shadow fall. These are the major things that would help you to very easily solve the sums. So let us see sum number 1. Joe is facing towards south and turns 45 degrees anti-clockwise. He turns again 180 degrees in anti-clockwise direction. Now he turns 270 degrees clockwise. Which direction is he facing? Now there are 4 options given. As we see, this is north, okay, so this will be south, this will be east, and this will be west. What are they saying? Joe is facing south. So okay, here this is Joe, okay, Joe is facing south, this is south, so Joe is facing what? South. Now we have learned that the hands of the clock move like this, so this is clockwise, so this will be anti-clockwise, so it would be like this, this is anti-clockwise, correct? So Joe turns 45 degrees anti-clockwise, so Joe turns like this for 45 degrees, this is 45 degrees. So where will Joe come? This is south and this will be southeast over here, this is southeast, right? So Joe turns 45 degrees anti-clockwise. He turns again 180 degrees in anti-clockwise direction. We have learned that when a person moves 180 degrees, the person goes in exact opposite direction. But let us see again, okay? So this is southeast, 45 degrees again. Now Joe wants to move 180 degrees anti-clockwise. So first 45 degrees plus this 90 degrees, that would be 135 degrees, and this 45 degrees, that would be 180 degrees. So total 180 degrees is traveled by Joe in anti-clockwise direction. This is anti-clockwise. So now Joe faces direction northwest. From over here we say northwest. Okay. Now he turns 270 degrees clockwise. Okay. Now here Joe is facing northwest. Now we have to go 270 degrees clockwise. This is 45, correct? This is 90, 135, again 90, that would be 215, right? No, this is 90, 90, 180, 180 plus 45 is 225. Okay, this would be 225, and we want 270. So more 45. So more 45 degrees. So Joe moved like this. This is nothing but 270 degrees. How 270 degrees? 45 plus 90, 135, 135 plus 90, 225 plus 45, 270 degrees. So Joe is now facing southwest. Okay, over here Joe traveled like this 270 degrees. Joe turned like this 270 degrees because this is clockwise. So now Joe is facing southwest. Which direction is he facing? Southwest. So C is the answer. Okay, see how easy it is. Once you draw the diagram, you will very easily be able to find the answer. Moving to question number 2. Morris is facing north and walks 10 kilometers. He turns 270 degrees anti-clockwise and walks 15 kilometers. Now he again turns 45 degrees clockwise and walks for 25 kilometers. Which direction is he facing now? Now see, in the previous also we saw we have to find the direction, right? Over here also we have to find out the direction in which Morris is facing. So these are the type of sums where only direction is asked, that in which direction the person is facing. There are other types also, we will be discussing them further, okay, after solving this sum, okay, we will check out those types also, but this is one type, or the first type, where only direction is asked, okay. Now first, what is it? Direction sum. So we will have our north, okay, so this will be south, this will be east, this will be west. Now here we have Morris, okay, this is Morris, and Morris is facing north, correct? This is north, right? Morris faces north and walks 10 kilometers. So Morris has walked 10 kilometers, right? Now here Morris turns 270 degrees anti-clockwise. Now Morris has reached over here and he is still facing north. He will turn 270 degrees anti-clockwise. This is anti-clockwise and Morris has to go 270 degrees, okay? So let us find 270 degrees. This is 90, this is 180, this is 270. So now Morris turns like this and is facing in this direction. What is this direction? East, okay? So Morris turns anti-clockwise 270 degrees and now is facing this direction, right? And now Morris walks 15 kilometers in this direction, okay? This is 15 kilometers. Now Morris is over here, he is facing in the east, correct? Now again he turns 45 degrees clockwise, okay? Now what is clockwise? Like the hands of clock. So it is like this. So if this is a straight line, this is 45 degrees, correct? So Morris turns 45 degrees. Over here, if this is east, what is 45? This is 45, correct? Okay, so Morris turns 45 degrees, and what is this direction? This is nothing but southeast. So this is nothing but southeast, okay? So Morris is now facing towards southeast, and this is the answer. Moving to question number 3. Mary is walking towards southwest for 15 miles, turns right and walks another 10 miles. She then turns 90 degrees clockwise and walks 10 miles. Now she again turns left and walks 30 miles. Which direction is she facing? Now again, this is a very easy sum, but you might feel it is complicated because of lot of stuff that she is turning, she is walking again and all that stuff. So let us see how to easily solve the sum. Since it is direction sum, we have our north over here. So this is south, this is east, and this is west, okay? Now Mary is walking towards southwest. What is southwest? This is southwest, okay? So Mary is walking southwest, okay? She was over here, right? Over here, and she is walking southwest. For how many? 15 miles, okay? Then she turns right. Now have they given by what angle? No, we know that whenever by default she reaches over at this point, okay? Now this sum starts with southwest and all that stuff, that is these difficult diagonal type directions. So in such sums, what happens is that it is very difficult to see what is 90 degree and what is 45 degree. So what to do? Whenever the person reaches the next point, draw this plus sign, okay? So what happens is Mary has reached at this point. Now Mary will turn right and walks another 10 miles. Now Mary will turn right by how much angles? 90 degree. Why 90 degree? Because we have learned when no angle is mentioned, always turning right or left is always 90 degrees. So Mary turns right. So this is 45, correct? This will be 45. So turning 90 degrees. This is 90 degrees, turning right and walks for 10 miles. So Mary has reached over here now after walking 10 miles. Okay, again draw plus sign. Now she again turns left and walks for 30. No, first they have given she then turns 90 degrees clockwise. Clockwise is like this, correct? So she will turn 90 degrees clockwise. This is 90 degrees, okay, clockwise, and walks 10 miles. So again she walks 10 miles and she reached at this point. Again plus sign. Now she again turns left. Now here she is going straight. She is facing this direction. Left means over here, and since no angle has been mentioned, so she turns left by 90 degrees and walks for 30 miles. Okay, this is 30 miles, right? which direction is she facing? Okay, she is facing in this direction. What is this direction? Over here, what is this direction? North and west, that is northwest. So answer is northwest, that is D. Mary is facing northwest. See how easy it is. We had Mary over here. She goes in southwest direction. Why? Because this is southwest as per this diagram. Then she reaches here. Okay. Then she takes right turn 90 degree. She goes over here. This is 90 degree turn. Right. Then over here she takes, she turns 90 degrees clockwise. Clockwise is this. So she turns 90 degrees clockwise. Okay. So this is 90. This is 45. This is 45. Over here again she turns left. Left means how many degrees? 90 degrees. This is 45, this is 45. So total 90. Now she is facing northwest because this is north, this is south, this is east, and this is west. Right? She is facing northwest. Question number 4. Maria walked 30 meters towards north. She turned right and walked 40 meters. She then turned right and walked 45 meters. She turned left and walked 25 meters. Finally, she turned left and walked 15 meters. How far is she from the starting point? Now, this is a second type of sum. Okay. Earlier, we saw only direction was asked. Now, they are asking what is the distance from the starting position. Okay. Let us see how to solve these kind of sums. See, it is very easy. Since it is direction sum, we will have our north. Okay. We will have our north. So, this will be south, this will be east, this will be west, right? Now, Maria is over here. Say this is Maria. Okay. She is facing towards north and she walks 30 meters towards north. So, this is 30 meters. Okay. And this is the north direction. Now, she turns right and walks 40 meters. Turning right means taking 90 degree turn. So, turns right and walks 40 meters. Correct? She is over here. She is facing this direction. Right? Okay, this is now she is facing this direction. Then she turned again right and walked 45 meters. Again she turned right means she is turning in this side. Correct? Right for Maria now will be on this side and she is walking 45 meters. She will go like this and walk 45 meters. Right? And now she is facing in this direction, that is south direction. She turned left. Now for the south, left will be what? Left will be this side, correct? So she turned left. Turning left means by 90 degrees. She turned left and walked for 25 meters. And now she is over here, okay? Finally, she turned left. Again, she is turning left. That means turning like this, correct? So she is turning left and walking 15 meters, okay? This is 15 meters. How far is she from starting point? Okay, this is the starting point, this is the final point. We have to find how far is she from the starting point. That is, we have to find distance between these points, right? These 2 points. Now, if you see carefully, this is 30 meters. Then again, this is 90 degree angle. So, she goes 40 meters over here. Again, 90 degree angle. She comes 45 meters down. So, this would be nothing but 30 meters. This will be a rectangle. This will be 40 meters, correct? This is 30, this is 30, this is 40, right? Now, again she goes over here, turns 25, comes over up 15. So, this is 15, this is 15. So, we will have 30 and 15 as 45. So, even this is a rectangle because here it is 90 degree, here it is 90 degree, right? So, if two angles are 90 degrees, rest also have to be 90 degree, okay? So, if this is 25, this will be 25. So, distance between M and M, that is the starting point and the end point. Starting point for Maria and the end point is 40 plus 25, that would be equal to 65 meters. So, answer is B, 65. See how easy it is. Whenever they give you direction sums, please remember when you have to find the starting or ending position, always remember that familiar geometrical figures would be formed like square, like rectangle, okay, or a right angled triangle. It can be like this, it can be like this, or it can be like this also, okay. So, familiar diagrams would be formed. Now, over here we got a rectangle. When she is walking 45 meters, she first travels 30 meters, so she will come in line with this, then she travels 15, so total 45. Again she goes 15 up, so she will come in exact line with the starting point, and the total distance between them would be 40 meter plus 25 meter. please remember there will always be such geometrical figures, square, rectangle, okay, or rectangle of this type, okay, or a right angle triangle, right, and these would be helpful to solve the sums. Whenever you get these, okay, there would be no other shape like circle or an isosceles triangle or something like that. Very rarely an isosceles triangle or something would be asked. Circle is generally never asked, right? So remember, there would be familiar geometric figures. Now moving to question number 5. A boy walks 12 kilometers towards east. He turns 90 degrees clockwise and walks 20 kilometers. Then he turned right and walked for 33 kilometers. How far is he from the starting point? Now this is direction sums, very easy, okay. So this becomes our north. There is this boy, okay. He starts walking. This is the starting point, okay. He starts walking east and walks for 12 kilometers. Where is east? On the right hand side, okay. He reaches this point. He turns 90 degree clockwise. Clockwise means like this, correct? So turns 90 degrees clockwise, okay, and walks for how much distance? For 20 kilometers, okay. Again he turned right. Now turning right, since the boy is facing south, okay, so turning right would be on this side. So the boy turned right. Turning right means by 90 degrees, turning by 90 degrees. So turned right by 90 degrees and continued walking for 33 kilometers, okay. The boy reached over here. This is the end point. We have to find how far is he from the starting point, that is how far is the boy from this point, okay, this straight line which is there. We have to find the distance. Now this is not a familiar geometric figure, but say if we draw a line like this, this becomes a rectangle and this becomes a right angled triangle, okay. So this becomes a right angle triangle and this becomes a rectangle, right? So if this is the rectangle, why rectangle? This is 90, this is 90, so this has to be 90 and this has to be 90, okay. When two angles are 90, third and fourth also has to be a 90 in a quadrilateral, okay, if it is a four-sided quadrilateral. Now here we have 12 kilometers, this will be also 12 kilometers because rectangle has opposite sides equal. This is 20, this is 20, entire is 33 from here to here. This is 20, this is 12 kilometers, so this will be 21 kilometers. This is 20 kilometers, this is 21 kilometers. Now we have a right angle triangle, say A, B and C, and we have learned the Pythagoras theorem that hypotenuse square is equal to the side square plus the other side square, okay, side 1 square plus side 2 square. So AB square would be equal to BC square plus AC square. So what is AB square? AB square would be equal to 20 square plus 21 square, correct? So AB square would be equal to, what is 20 square? 400. What is 21 square? 441. It is very important to know the squares of numbers till 30. So what do we get? I'll write it over here. AB square would be equal to 841. So how much will be AB? It is 29 because 841 is the square of 29. So the boy is 29 kilometers from the house or from the starting point, right? The boy is 29 kilometers from the starting point. This distance is 29 kilometers. Now it might happen that you might not be able to quickly remember what exactly is square of 29 or what exactly is 841 square root of. So see options. You know this square ends with 1. So which all numbers square end with 1? Only 9 and 1. 9 square is 81, 1 square is 1. So 65 and 43 cannot be the options. So answer can be 29 or 21, but 21 square we have already seen 441. So answer has to be 29. Now if there was an option called as none of the above, okay, none of the above, then what you can do, you are left with two choices, 29 and none of the above. Then take 29, find 29 square. If it is 841, 29 is the answer. If it is not 841, then none of the above is the answer. But here the answer is 29. So 29 is the answer. Moving to next question. A car travels 25 kilometers towards south from garage. It turns left and travels 30 kilometers. Then turns right and travels 15 kilometers. How far is the car from the garage and in which direction? Again, very easy. Now earlier we saw that we were asked direction, then we saw how far is the person from starting point. Now this is the third type where both the things are asked. It is very easy to solve. We have to solve the same way what we have done up till now. Okay, so let's solve this sum. Since it is direction sum, this is our not direction. Okay, the car travels 25 kilometers towards south. So from the garage. So this is the garage. Okay, and the car starts and travels 25 kilometers towards south. Okay, this is south, and the car reaches over here. It turns left. Left for the car now will be, since it is facing south, it will not be the same left as ours. It would be opposite side. Car turns left and travels 30 kilometers. The turn will be 90 degrees because they have just given left turn. So the car travels 30 kilometers. Okay, and it reaches here. Then it turns right and travels 15 kilometers. Again, it turns right, so 90 degrees. Okay, the car is traveling like this, turns right. Okay, travels 15 kilometers, right, and reaches over here. How far is the car from the garage and in which direction? Very easy. We have to find how far it is, simply joining these 2 points, and we have to find the length between these 2 points. Correct? So how to do? Now there are 2 triangles over here, this one and this one. Instead of calculating it for 2 triangles, just use this small trick or tip. Okay, what you do? Extend this and take it over here. So you got one big triangle with 90 degree over here. Let the triangle be A, B and C. What is? We have to find AC. Correct? Now which is this direction from the garage? It is like this. Correct? Draw this. This is north, we already know. This is south. This is east. This is west. Okay? Direction is southeast. Over here, where do we see southeast? We see here and here. So this is not the option. This is not the option. Correct? So this and this is the answer. We have to choose one. Now 70 or 50, we have to see. This is southeast direction. Now the car is in southeast direction from the garage. Now this we know as, this is 90 degree, this is 90 degree, this will also be 90, this will also be 90. So this is a rectangle. So if this is 30, this is 30. If this is 15, this is 15. So entire AB distance is 25 plus 15. BC distance is 30. So in this right angle triangle, hypotenuse square would be equal to AB square, that is side square plus the other side square. Hypotenuse square is AC square. Correct? That would be 25 plus 15 is 40 square plus 30 square, that is 1600 plus 900 would be 2500, and now AC would be nothing but square root of 2500, that is 50 kilometers. So answer is D, southeast. Okay, 50 southeast. Moving to question number 7. Martin walked 13 meters towards south from his gym. He turned left and walked 10 meters. He took left turn and walked 5 meters, and then he turned right and walked for 5 meters. How far is he from his gym and in which direction? Again, very easy. This is our north side. Okay, this is the gym. Okay, Martin starts from here and he walks 13 meters towards south. Okay, he reaches at this point. He turned left. For south direction, left is this. So turning by 90 degrees left. Okay, he walked 10 meters, right? He walked 10 meters, reaches here. He took a left turn again. Again, a left turn means this 90 degrees. Okay, again he reaches over here and walked for 5 meters. Okay, he walked for 5 meters and reaches over here, and then he turned right. Now right is our right because Martin is now facing north and we are facing north, so turned right. This is 90 degrees and walked for 5 meters. So after turning right, Martin walked for 5 meters and reached at this point. How far is he from his gym and in which direction? Now this is the gym and this is the direction. Okay, what is the direction? Just draw this cardinal at the gym. It is going in this direction. This is nothing but this is north, this is south, this is east, this is west. So southeast. So this is not the answer. This is not the answer. Answer is this or this. Let us find out. Okay, we have to find the distance between starting point and end point. Okay, just join this and you will get a right angled triangle. Let us assume the triangle is A, B and C. Okay, this end now A to B. Now this is 90, 90, this will be 90, this will be 90. So this is a rectangle, right? So if this is 5, this distance will be 5. This is 10, So this distance will be 10. So AB is nothing but 10 plus 5. AB is 10 plus 5 equal to 15. Is that right? Now we want A to C. We know C to this point is 13. Out of that, if you remove this 5, you will get the distance AC. AC is nothing but 13 minus 5, that is 8. So let us find out the distance BC. BC square, by Pythagoras theorem, BC square is AC square plus AB square. Correct? That would be, what is AC? 8. 8 square is 64 plus 225, that is 15 square, that is 289. So BC would be equal to 17, because 289 is square of 17. So the answer is D, 17 southeast. Moving to question number 8. Question number 8. One morning after sunrise, Joe was standing facing a pole. The shadow of the pole fell exactly to his right. To which direction was he facing? Now welcome to type number 4. It is related to shadows. Okay, this is actually easy. Only thing is that people get confused over here because of the shadow and the direction of the shadow, or where exactly the shadow is falling. But very easy way to solve this sum. Let us see what have we learned. Okay, this is our north, correct? This is our north. So this is south, this is east, this is west. What have they given? One morning after sunrise, that means the sun has risen. Okay, there is sunrise, so sun is in the east. Okay, now if sun is in the east, on this side, where will be the shadow? Shadow will be on the west side. Okay, and this shadow which is there, shadow will be over here. Shadow of what? Shadow of the pole. Okay, shadow of the pole will be over here on the west side. Okay, over here on the west side. But they say that the shadow is to the right of Joe. Okay, so find out which direction he is facing. Very easy. Say, assume that Joe is standing over here, okay, and Joe is facing north. What will be north of Joe? What will be right of Joe? This, but shadow is on this side. So exactly opposite try. If Joe is facing this side, right will be this. Correct? Now if we are facing north, our right would be this, his right, Joe's right. Correct? But Joe is not facing right because the shadow is on the left side of Joe right now. Correct? So just try the reverse. This is south. If Joe is facing south, where will be his right? His right will be on this side, and shadow is also on this side. That means Joe is facing south. So south is the answer. In such cases, it is very easy. You just assume first, let us say any direction. Let us say I assume that, okay, Joe is facing east. After that, what I will see, where is the Joe, right of Joe? Right of Joe will be this, but shadow is at the back of Joe. So this is not possible. Then take west. Okay, Joe is facing west. What is right of Joe? Right of Joe is this side. Okay, but say if Joe is facing this side, that means right of Joe is this side. That means shadow which is there, the entire shadow which is there, it is in front of Joe. That we don't want. We want the shadow to be right. Then try north, then try south. Okay, you will find the answer. Very easy. You don't have to do anything. Just draw your own diagram over here. North, south, east, west. Draw the sun as per the time given and get the answer. Moving to next question. James and Henry were standing facing each other at 8 a.m. Shadow of Henry fell exactly to his right. To which direction was James facing? Again, very easy sum. What do we have? Okay, we have to find the shadow. So we will have our north, we will have our south, we will have our east, we will have our west. Time given is 8 a.m. That means sunrise in the morning. Sun is in the east. So shadow will be over here on the west side. This is the shadow. Okay. Now shadow of Henry fell exactly to his right. So say if Henry is there and if Henry is facing towards north. Okay. So Henry's shadow fell to the right of Henry. What is right of Henry over here? This, but shadow is on the left over here. So Henry is not facing north. Henry, let's try south. Okay. If Henry is facing south, okay, what is the right of Henry? This is the right of Henry, and shadow is also to the right of Henry. So Henry is facing south. Okay. So this is Henry. Henry is facing south, and we know James and Henry are facing each other. So James has to face Henry. So James is facing which direction? James is facing north. So north is the answer. Moving to next question. Question number 10. Prince was standing facing to the pole at 1:48 p.m. Shadow of the pole fell towards his right. To which direction was Prince facing? Very easy, similar to the previous sum. Okay, we have north. Okay, this is our north, this is our south, this is our east, this is our west. It is 1:48 p.m. We know sun rises over here. Okay, it goes over here at 12 o'clock. The sun is over here. So at 1 o'clock the sun will be here somewhere. Okay. Okay. So on the west side, the sun is on the west side, right? So shadow will be on east side. Okay. The shadow will be on east side. So what they have said, that the shadow of pole is to the right of Prince. Okay. Let us assume that the Prince is facing, say, west. Okay. Here is Prince. Prince is facing west. So shadow of Prince will be, what is the right of Prince? Right of Prince is this, but is the shadow on the north side? No, shadow is over here on the east side at the back of Prince. So Prince is not facing west. Let us assume Prince is facing east. Okay, what is right of Prince? It would be this, right? Is the shadow to the right of Prince? No, it is in front of Prince. So Prince is not facing east. Let Prince face south. Okay, if Prince is facing south, what is right of Prince? Right of Prince is this. Is the shadow on this side? No, shadow is on this side over here. So Prince is not facing south. Let Prince face north. What is right of Prince? This. Where is the shadow of the pole? On this side only, that is on the right only. So Prince is facing the north. See how easy it was. Okay, moving to next question. Question number 11. Ted drives the car 10 miles towards north from his office. He turns 270 degrees clockwise and drives for 20 miles. Now he turns 270 degrees anti-clockwise and drives for 37 miles. Finally, he reaches his house after driving for 20 miles to his right. How far is Ted's house from his office and in which direction? Okay, again very easy, it is similar to type number 3. Okay, let us see, we know this is our north, right? Now what they have given is that Ted starts from his office. Okay, this is the office. Okay, Ted starts from here and Ted moves 10 miles towards north, right? Now he reaches at this point. Here he takes a 270 degrees clockwise turn. Now we know clockwise is like this. Okay, so he takes 270 degrees. So it would be how much? 90, 180, 270 degrees turn. So now Ted is facing in this direction, right? And he drives for 20 miles. This is 20 miles. He reaches at this point. This is 90 degree. Okay, this is 90, this is 90, this is 90. Now, what does Ted do? He takes 270 degrees anti-clockwise turn. So this is anti-clockwise. Now Ted is facing in this direction. So let him take 270 degrees anti-clockwise. 90, 180, 270. So now Ted will face in this direction. Correct? This is 270 degrees. This is also 270 degrees. This is clockwise. This is anti-clockwise. Now Ted is facing in this direction and Ted drives for 37 miles. Okay, this is 37 miles. He reaches his house after driving 20 miles to his right. That means he takes a right turn 90 degrees. Okay, and drives for 20 miles. So he has driven 20 miles over here. Okay, in this direction. Now he goes 20 miles over here. So he comes in straight line with this point and here he reaches his house, right? So how far is Ted's house from his office and in which direction? Now Ted's house is, this is office, this is house, so Ted's house is in the north. Okay, so here we have north. We can directly mark the answer, but say if there are two options, like say here also it is north, then how to calculate? Let us see. This is 90. Okay, this is 90, 90, this is also 90. Okay, this is 90, 90, 90, this is also 90 because 270 degrees is 90 plus 90 plus 90. Okay, so this is a rectangle. If this is 20, this is 20, this is 37, this will be 37 meters, and distance between house and office is 37 meters plus 10 meters, that is equal to 47 meters. So the option is B, 47 north. This is the correct answer. See how directions is very easy. You just need to remember there are 4 directions: north, south, east, west. The sun rises in the east, sets in the west. At 12 noon in the afternoon, sun is on the top and we cannot see our shadow. When the sun rises in the east, shadow is on the west. When it sets in the west, shadow is on the east, okay, right? And you should remember this is clockwise like a clock and this is anti-clockwise, exactly opposite. Turning left and right depends on which direction you are facing. If you are facing north, this is right, this is left. If you are facing south, this is right, this is left, okay, and this is right, exactly opposite. Same goes for east and west. This is east, okay, so right will be this and left will be this, but for west this will be left and this will be right, exactly opposite. There is nothing to this. If you draw the diagram, if you trace the diagram sentence by sentence, you will very easily get the answer in hardly 10 seconds. Drawing the diagram might take you round about 30 seconds, okay, not more than that, 30 to 35 seconds, and you will get the answer in hardly 2 seconds or 10 seconds very easily. The calculations are also very easy. So keep practicing and make sure that you attempt all the sums related to directions, because these are bread and butter sums. That means you can very easily score in this and you should not get these wrong. So this is all for direction sense test. I hope you found this video useful and I hope that it raised your confidence level. Keep practicing and also share the video with your friends. Give it a like if you liked it. Leave your comments and suggestions for us. You can even request a video on topic of your choice. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to stay updated.